Well, we brought you the story earlier this week of the con job that is Welcome to Country ceremonies, costing us taxpayers almost $500,000 to pay for them at government events. Now, a Western Sydney councillor who promised to ban Welcome to Country and Acknowledgement to Country ceremonies at the Cumberland City Council has vowed to also remove the Indigenous flag from council properties, proposing only the Australian flag be flown. Cumberland City Councillor Steve Christou joins me now. Nice to see you, Steve. Thank you for joining me on the show this evening. You've been very vocal on this from the very beginning about Welcome to Country ceremonies. That's something you've wanted banned. But now the Indigenous flag as well. What are you proposing here?
Well, I'm proposing that not only do we stop Welcome to Country ceremonies and Indigenous acknowledgements, we also take down the Indigenous flag because it's dividing the country. People are now getting mixed up as to what our actual flag is. People are not acknowledging the Australian flag, and this woke nonsense has to stop. You know, people are sick and tired of being told that they never, the land that they were born in and migrated to never was, never will be theirs. It just has to stop, and this is why I'm trying to take action to impose this at Cumberland City Council.
Well, look, good on you, because, I mean, we even saw a couple of weeks ago, Annika Wells had to stop her press conference. There was a big kerfuffle because she wasn't standing in front of the three flags of Australia, and then she ended up, Steve, standing in front of the Aboriginal flag for that press conference. Whatever happened to one flag for one country?
Well, that's the whole point. We've lost our national identity, and the whole process has now become a joke. People are now just, they're embarrassed to call themselves Australian because of this nonsense that's going on.
But they shouldn't be.
Councils.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
They should not be. You should never be embarrassed to be a proud Australian.
We should be proud. The Americans wouldn't cop it. They wouldn't cop another flag, you know, being flown behind them. And why should we? It's not about being against the Indigenous people. It's about standing with them, shoulder to shoulder, side by side, hand in hand, as equals. Everybody as equals.
Absolutely. Now, you've got to put forward this motion. It's going to go to a meeting in February. What are people telling you in your local community? How are they feeling about this sort of proposed change?
Well, people in my local community want me to take a sledgehammer to this because we voted 64% no to the Voice to Parliament campaign, one of the highest votes in Australia. So they are very happy that this is going to go ahead, and I hope that the Liberal councillors on council can toe the line with Peter Dutton's wishes about the Australian flag as well, and this will be the first test.
Yeah, I think this will be the first test. I don't know about you, but I feel like the momentum is swinging in this direction. I was in Perth last week, and the sign on the board heading to Sydney said Gadigal Country, instead of just Sydney. And then you land in Sydney and you get Welcome to Country by Qantas. But you feel like people are sick of it. I mean, Melbourne Storm are scrapping their Welcome to Countries as well. There were Indigenous elders up in far north Queensland that they're saying it's become farcical. And this is a problem. It has become farcical because what is it actually doing, Steve, to help improve the lives of Aboriginal Australians?
Absolutely zero. A big fat nothing. Rather than putting initiatives on the ground to help Indigenous Australians, they are dividing the country and making issues for Indigenous people more tougher because people are just sick of it and they're turning off. People want to see equality. People don't want to see woke tokenism, you know, at sporting events, at council events, at government events. Welcome to Country is being done in meetings on government departments every 10 minutes. Literally, staff are complaining. It's just a waste of taxpayer money. Well,
we had that con job earlier this week, which was revealed $450,000 has been spent on Welcome to Country ceremonies. You would know in local councils are doing the same. They're spending a lot of money on Welcome to Country ceremonies, and we're the ones that are actually footing the bill for this.
Well, that's it. In a cost of living crisis where people are struggling to pay the mortgage, the rent, the bills and put food on the table to feed their children, we've got government departments wasting $450,000 on paying people to welcome to country. Isn't it meant to be an acknowledgement ceremony where you can be welcomed for free? Not that I agree with it, but if it really means that much, why not welcome people for free?
No, I agree. I want to ask you about Australia Day. It's a tough issue, isn't it, for councils to navigate, because you've got some councils across the country going completely rogue on this. They're changing the day of the citizenship ceremonies, which I just think is absolutely ridiculous. But the Mayor of the city of Canning in Perth has described Australia Day as a mess and is calling on the federal government to make a clear decision on the date to end the split between local councils and allow for a more unified celebration. Do you agree?
Well, I think the federal government should be saying Australia Day is compulsory, and any council that doesn't celebrate Australia Day on Australia Day and have their citizenship ceremonies on Australia Day will lose their ceremonies and the federal government take them back. That's what needs to happen. I absolutely agree that we need to have a clear policy and be proud of our national day.
Well, you were mayor for many years of that council. What was your policy on it?
Oh, absolutely no exceptions of whatsoever. We celebrate Australia Day on Australia Day, loud and proud. No slogans, no family day, no fun day. It is Australia Day.
Yeah. And the other thing that bothers me is that there's never any consultation with ratepayers, is there? That they just move the date and then, surprise, suddenly your citizenship ceremony is no longer on the 26th. I mean, are they actually doing this for the will of the people?
No. Government bureaucrats want to make themselves feel good. And I think some of my other local elected representatives need to grow a spine and actually stand up to this nonsense.